What's going on, you guys? It's Artoria here, and welcome to the first episode of my music podcast with a very special guest right now, Metal Burb. I always have to say, like, the burb accentuated. How are you today, dude?
I'm good. I didn't realize I was the first guest. Oh, I feel honored. Thank you.
You are. I decided that, you know what? I have a gaming podcast. I thought, you know what? Why not? Since I have this YouTube channel for reactions, let's do a music podcast, get some guests on, talk about our love of music, gaming, and really everything in between.
Yeah, and I'm totally down to talk about gaming, like I was mentioning before the recording. But I see some Silent Hill 2 poster right behind you, and I absolutely adore that game. So I would love to talk about video games just as much as music. But I'm excited for you to pick my brain with whatever you got, music wise, too, or video game wise.
Oh, heck yeah! So one of the first topics I wanted to discuss, because some of the people who might have not heard of you or are new to your channel, they don't really know how you got started in doing like music reactions and what you do right now with YouTube, where you have over, I think, what, 100K subscribers currently?
That's a lot. I know. 135,000.
That's amazing, dude. Congratulations. Seriously.
Thank you. Yeah, it's still hard to fathom a little bit, to be honest. Like, I had an old YouTube channel back in the day, like when I was in high school, and I had 1,000 subscribers, and that was huge to me. So
yeah, right. You know, whenever even you get like a new subscriber, and then you get like the email notification, then it just stops giving you emails after a while because it's like, I can't keep up with this person.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the story of how you started the reaction channel? Because I feel like that would be really cool to get your insight on.
Well, it's funny because I actually did not like reaction channels, and I ended up doing something that I didn't necessarily like. And it was this channel called Truant. And he was, he was doing some bands like Under Oath and Architects. And he was like one of the few YouTubers I saw that was covering these bands and some new releases. But he was reacting. I'm like, oh, I can't stand reaction content. It's lazy content. They're just taking other people's content and just like using it for views, right? But then I started to watch him, and his personality really came through the videos. He was really chatty and charismatic and friendly. And he would talk about the music afterwards, and I'm like, finally, I feel like I'm having some conversation or discussion around the music that I love that is so niche. There's no place there. Well, you can find online threads and Reddit talking about the music, but I feel like there's not a lot of videos talking about my style of metalcore or deathcore, like subgenres of metal. So it's really hard to find, and I thought it was really cool. But one thing about Truant was that I noticed that he never gave like a negative reaction. He was positive about everything. And after some time, I could just tell by his taste. I'm like, I don't think you actually really like that. And he was just kind of like, just kind of praising it. So I wanted to be that guy that actually wanted or gave like honest feedback to music, because I wanted to see like the scene to grow and expand. And I wanted to put in my 2 cents, because I'm very opinionated when it comes to music and like video games and movies. I can go off, hence why I have the channel, right? So I basically just bought a camera because I already had my old YouTube channel where I was doing guitar covers. But this time I thought, you know what, why not I just talk? And so I filmed, or I bought, a DSLR and filmed my first reaction to Bring Me the Horizon, Nihilist Blues, which was like 5 years ago. And then I love that song. I gave it like a storm review, and I was surprised by my commentary. I didn't realize that I could actually talk that much about music until I'm at the camera and I'm recording. And then the video got blocked. So because the YouTube copyright game is horrendous when it comes to copyright. Yeah. So that was my very first video, was my very first taste of the YouTube copyright system. But it didn't stop me. Next day, or actually, no, it could have been like 2 weeks later, I did a video to a smaller band called Norma Jean, and that didn't get blocked. So then that's when I just kept doing it every day.
Wow, that's amazing though. Like, and to see how far your channel has grown. Like, I started watching your content actually when you were reacting to Sleep Token, because after I heard of that band, because I think it was Will Ramos's cover of Hypnosis, that was how I heard of the band Sleep Token. And then I started watching like different reactors, because I love seeing people's faces light up when they get to like certain choruses and everything. And I saw your reactions, And you were just so genuine and so heartfelt whenever it came to like the live streams that you did and then posted them over on YouTube. So really, honestly, seriously, amazing job on the reactions because you deserve all of the subscribers you have.
Thank you. You were actually
Yeah.
part of the live streams as well.
No, I wasn't part of the live streams. I saw the YouTube of where like people were talking and they were like, "No spoilers. Stop talking about it." I
I'm
thought that
very
was great.
adamant about that. I'm adamant with the no spoilers because it's funny because like in one of the reactions I said like I don't want to know if Vessel starts rapping or something, and then
Right.
I literally called it out. Like it's not like it's like slow rap, but in the R&B section. But yeah, a lot of people discovered me through the Sleep Token reactions. It's a band that I've been featuring since the beginning of my channel. I made a video for their song Nazareth. Actually, I discovered Sleep Token through Truant. Truant, yeah. So Truant actually stopped doing reaction videos back in like 2019 or something. So he's been offline since, but he did do a reaction to their song Jaws. And then I was obsessed with that song, and I was like listening to it while it only had like 5,000 views on YouTube. So I've been a fan of Sleep Token for a long time, and then with Take Me Back to Eden, I guess it just finally took off. The viralness of the band took off. Will did that cover too, which exposed a lot of people as well. TikTok went crazy for Sleep Token too. So, and I'm glad. I'm so glad. It's a band that I've been pushing for a long time, and I'm so glad to see one of my favorite bands be understood by so many other people because I feel like I have a niche taste in music. And so for everyone to see the appeal that I love about Sleep Token as well, it's such a cool thing to see. And I feel like metal and rock music is in a very healthy state with bands like Sleep Token blowing up.
Yeah, especially like with how music is being portrayed now, because I feel like even 10 years ago, you were not getting storytelling bands like Sleep Token really conveying that strong message. I feel like the band that even comes close to that stylistically is the band Him, because they would so often change the direction of how their music was, even though they were like quote unquote love metal.
Yeah, there's a few bands, but they go really unnoticed. One of my favorite bands is actually called the Deer Hunter, and I highly recommend them. They're beautiful, they're cinematic, their music feels like movie scores, but it's based like it's very storytelling kind of music, but it doesn't translate to a mainstream audience. So they're very niche still. But Sleep Token managed to find a way to blow up
Yeah,
through.
it's that one thing in the summoning of where everyone was saying this is the baby making verse. This is it. This is what everyone is going to love. And I'm just sitting there. I listened to it for the first time through your reaction, and I thought, wait a second, are they changing up the entire way the music is going right now? And then I heard it, I'm like, oh,
I love it. And that's the thing. Yeah. So I'm very adamant about what the future of metal is going to be. And it's sexy metal. Sexy
it's
metal is
sexy
the
metal.
thing. It's so true. And like, it's the thing is, it's always been like a little bit cringe to have sexy metal for like older metalheads. Right. But now since Sleep Token and, Bad Omens too, there's always been like Deftones that have been doing it. And there's Typo Negative. But Sleep Token really made it kind of like cool or like realize that it's cool and commercially successful. So now I feel like the next wave of metal acts is going to incorporate more seductive vocals and like industrial sounds. And I'm already hearing so much because people are constantly showing me new music. I'm like, yep, this is very Sleep Tokeny. This is Bad Omens. It's the next wave of metal is the sexy metal movement.
I really like seeing it though, because there's so much really honestly amazing stuff that's coming out from independent artists and even from the metal scene. Like, oh my God, Bring Me the Horizon just dropped some amazing stuff recently. And I thought that, okay, this is heading in a direction that I would not have foreseen, because for me in particular, when I started listening to metal, I was like 10 or 11 years old. And it was one of those things of where you aren't supervised, you're watching MTV and you're seeing different bands come on. And that's when, you hear My Chemical Romance, you hear Avenged Sevenfold, all of those things. So it's really cool that it's evolving, but in a positive direction nowadays.
Oh, absolutely. It's so diverse. That's the direction. So many in so many different ways. And it's funny with Bring the Horizon is that they've been talking about wanting to do an emo album or EP for a while now. That's a band that's always 2 or 3 steps ahead of everyone else, and then every other band follows them. And so it's really cool for them to, they did pop with Ammo, and then they're just trying to figure out the trends before it happens. So then the emo revival, there's a big emo revival lately. And so it's very smart of Bring Me the Horizon to kind of go into that direction. I think that's a very cool, smart move. But then what ended up happening was the sexy metal move just came out of nowhere. And then I feel like Bring Me the Horizon is like now almost like, I don't know if like a step behind, but it's just like it's not as current as it could be because they did write the song Limousine, which is like that more. And then I'm like, that seems like a little bit of an odd song in that grand in the whole album because it's a much different vibe than most of the album. So it just seems like, yeah, that's I feel like they wrote that song a little bit more last minute than the other ones, but it's one of the favorites.
Because I wanted to ask like what your thoughts are with the recent Ronnie Radke Falling in Reverse song that dropped for the oh gosh, now I'm gonna space on the title of the track. Of course I would. Ronnie, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry.
He might.
Crap.
He's chronically online, so.
Oh crap! What's the name of that
It's
song?
All My Life.
All My Life. Thank you. That was the first time I heard Jelly Roll, and I was flabbergasted by that man's voice. Flabbergasted. I want to get your thoughts on it because I'm not too. I've never seen a band like that go country, and it actually sounding good.
Yeah, so with Falling in Reverse, it's one band that's extremely controversial in well, especially in my scene, which is like covers more metalcore music and hardcore music. They're both a little bit polarized, and to me, I just do my unbiased opinions about the musicians. And to me, Falling in Reverse is a band that writes big epic tracks. They started from the emo scene, Escape the Fate, and then they got into like some really cringy stuff for a while. There's some old songs from Falling in Reverse that I cannot do. But the thing is,
Yes,
Ronnie knows. Ronnie knows. He's like, why'd you guys let me write that crap? Like he's actually, I find him really funny actually at times. But his new stuff, there's times where like it's so over the top and that it's cheesy, but I feel like he's self-aware of the cheesiness a little bit. He doesn't take himself as seriously as people make it out to be. So that's why I kind of enjoy his music. It's almost like, I don't know if guilty pleasure is the right word, but it feels like Marvel movies and superhero movies in a way. And I'm not a big fan of superhero movies. I enjoy them. They're fun to watch, but I rather watch like, my more, I don't know, indie films, I guess. So then but then with Ronald, that was just a pure metal track that I thought was incredible. Actually, I really liked.
that was amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was just a spectacle. It was relentless, and instrumentally, it makes the music nerds happy with the technicality of the musicians or the musicianship. And then the new song, "All My Life." Oh my God, it's the summer banger. I can't stop listening to it. The hooks, like even if people who hate Ronnie, you can't deny that he knows how to write bangers. That's the best way to put it. Hence why the band is blowing up. They've always been a big band, but they're actually getting bigger and bigger. And All My Life is, I think, a really, really incredible track from vocal hooks and guitars, and the features are really good from Jelly Roll too. I was also blown away by his voice. But one thing I also really liked was the music video. The music video is lighthearted, it's goofy, but it also changes the perception that people have of Ronnie. It's even changed mine a bit, where he talks about some controversial things in the music video, but I thought he just handled it well. I thought the music video was just done well, shows a different side to Ronnie, which I think people need to see. So I think All My Life is one of the best songs. It's like the top 3 best songs, Falling in Reverse.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, even whenever I was listening to his remake of, the remakes that he was doing for the remasters for his songs and for other artists, it amazes me how this is the same person that both did Ronald and All My Life. Like that shows such a diversity in the talent and the structure of how he kind of grew up in his musicianship, because not too many artists, I think, can actually pull that off successfully, you know? So whenever I see All My Life and I hear kind of the different opinions that are going on, which, by the way, for the people, those who are listening and watching, I'm not a political person. I don't dive into politics at all. So you guys are only going to see like honest reactions as far as how the music and how everything is portrayed. I don't ever dive into any of that crap because that's not who I am. But as far as like handling messaging is going, he handled the message in the best way that he could for the music videos without going too overboard, I feel.
Yeah. I that is a very good way of putting it. I totally agree. He handles the music video well without being too insulting, or it shows a different side to him. So yeah, that's a good point. But the videos are done really well. Yeah.
It's just like always these big spectacles, and every time I like react to a Ronnie Radke music video, or following a reverse music video, I should say, I always think, okay, what is he going to do with CGI now that is going to put this music video over the top?
The Ronald one with the helicopter, and it was like the Gatling gun, and then it was actually in sync with the drum pattern too. It was just that was so cool.
Yeah.
Another thing too is like he has a crazy budget. He has a lot of money, so of course he can do these big music videos. But it's also cool to see metal and rock band like that actually put so much effort into a music video, and because the metal scene. Most of the bands I covered, the music videos are very generic. It's, you know, garage, warehouse with like some lights in the background. But you know, of course they have small budgets, but I feel like it's more the creativity, more like have an idea for your music video, because like as a music reactor, the music video helps sell the song so much more. Music videos are so important. So I think it's cool that Falling in Reverse puts so much effort into their music videos too.
Yeah, that's what I like as well. I mean, there was one band that I covered that I saw that same kind of effort, but it kind of looked like a video game. And I'm spacing on all of them because I'm I'm put on the spot and I can't remember it. Oh, okay, Esoterica, that was it.
Oh yeah, that was a good song. Yeah.
Yeah, the Firefly. I thought that song was so good. The music video was just so incredibly well done.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into that video. The song's really good. They hit me up to check out that song too, and I've never heard of them. And then I was pleasantly surprised when I heard it.
Yeah, same. And I heard that actually again from watching one of yours and another reactors stuff. I saw like the intro, the first like 5 seconds of it. And I was like, nope, I have to react to this. This sounds like it's going to be good.
Oh no way, you reacted to it?
Yeah.
His voice is butter.
Blesses all the butters. He just, he looked like a boss in a video game, and I was here for it. It's a Firefly boss.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, I was thinking of Shokran. That was like PlayStation 1 graphics, which I think is kind of cool too. I love the outdated, like the demakes lately, even in video games.
Oh yeah, no, they actually did a demake of Bloodborne. Did you see that?
I think so. Yeah, we were talking earlier that I'm not the most familiar when it comes to like the Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Elden Ring games. Like I am familiar with them. I just haven't really played them too much because I don't know. Like I feel like I get so far into these games. Well, not so far, but like Bloodborne, I got put like 3 4 hours into it, and then I took a break, and then after taking that break I went back into it, and then I just kept dying and dying. I'm like, I'm over this. Like after like a long day of like, I don't know, editing, filming content, and going through my emails, I'm like, I need something a little bit easy. So I think that's one of the issues that I have with these games, that I just suck at them. I'm not a kid anymore that used to crush through these.
It's interesting though, and I think this is a perfect segue. We're going to talk more about some other music stuff, but I feel like this is a perfect segue into some of the gaming content. And for those of you who do not know, this channel initially is a side hobby for me because I love metal music, I love rock music, and I wanted to react to it in some capacity to even see if I could do it. This is just purely a passion project. My main profession is a video editor and gaming journalist. So whenever I see the numbers going up on this channel, being able to, interview amazing people like yourself, it almost kind of takes me aback because it's just like, I feel like I'm living a double life.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool to be able to do this and also know that there are other gaming fans who I'm talking with, and that's so cool. So one of the first questions I had, because I saw this on your Instagram story, that you were playing Silent Hill 2 in preparation for the remake. What do you think?
Yes.
Are you excited for the remake? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I am so glad you're picking my brain about this because this is like a big passion of mine that I can't vent out as much because I'm so talking about music all the time online. But Silent Hill 2, I I am excited for the remake. But before I say my thoughts, like I wanted to play the original, so I finally hooked up my PC to my TV because I don't want to play video games here with my like setup because it makes me think of work. So I hooked it up to my TV and now I'm playing the OG Silent Hill. And I'm excited and I'm playing it again because I'm trying to remember, was this game really, how bad was it? Like, am I looking at the remake with rose colored glasses like that you should not touch this classic remake, but like it's clunky and it's really off at times. So maybe I should go into the remake with like open mindedness. But I know Blooper Team, they're good. They're not like I like some of their games, but I'm
The
not crazy about Blooper Team.
the
Why
high
you?
pitched in your voice, it was just like, they're good.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think. Layers of Fear was pretty good. I actually didn't mind Blair Witch. I love horror games. Like I think metalheads and horror gaming or just video gaming kind of goes hand in hand. But let's see. The trailers have looked a little bit off in terms of just being action orientated. So that was a little bit off putting. But the newest trailer, the atmosphere looks good. The scenery looks amazing. The fog though, I wish that there was a little bit more fog because like I don't like that you can see so much. I liked it in the old one where it was almost invisible, which the next enemy was coming, right? So I felt like that they really need to increase the fog. And then the animations were a little bit clunky, but same with the OG. So like I guess maybe whatever. But the one thing that I have issues with is the character faces. The models just look,
It's
and
interesting.
I know there's a lot of
Yeah.
controversy around the Angela one, and like for good reason. There's the side by side comparison, like the 20-year-old version, and then her is just like completely different. So I think Blooper Team needs to really focus on the facial animations or the artwork, art design behind the faces a little bit more. They fixed James. I noticed that James looks a
I
lot
noticed, yeah. I noticed that they tidied up his like jawline a little bit to make him kind of look more like boxy to a degree, the way that he looked in the original.
Yeah, so I totally. And Laura looks really good. Her character design looks really good, and the facial animations look really good. I think just the Angela stuff was looking a little bit off, and we still haven't seen Eddie. So I'm excited, but I'm also worried. That's the best way to sum it up. But how are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling a little bit worried because Silent Hill 2 has a very special place in my heart. It was the first Silent Hill game I ever played. And that was only like, I think maybe 5 years ago, I played that game for the first time. And that was my first introduction into Silent Hill. Actually, no, I should take that back. My first introduction to Silent Hill was the movies. And then I played the
Oh
games.
yeah.
So it's funny to see that because there was so much that I saw in the games. I was like, they completely fucked up the movies, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. So I'm surprised you actually gave Silent Hill a shot after the movies. I feel like that would deter you from playing the games
No, because I'm stubborn and I'm bullheaded, and so I need to do things in that way. I need to like at least see like, okay, is this as bad as it seems, or is it actually good? I actually recently, I'll put the link down in the description below where you guys can find it, but played Silent Hill 1 online for free. It's amazing. You guys have to check it out. I emulated it on DuckStation, and that was absolutely amazing to experience the first Silent Hill game, which I don't think, if they remake that game, I don't know. I don't know. It's the same way I feel about Resident Evil 1 remake because that was the first game I ever played. So I don't know how this remake is going to go necessarily, given the fact that it is such an iconic piece of gaming history.
Yeah, I know, and it's so many people still don't know it, so it makes perfect sense for them to remake it. And there's so many memes around it, like the Silent Hill 2 memes and like the lore around it. The music is used in like TikToks, right? It's still living on today, but people don't know the story. The story is what makes the game, and I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but the story is everything in that. And if they remake the first Silent Hill, I don't know if they will, and the only reason I'm saying that is because I think they're trying to connect the story to Silent Hill 2 to other Silent Hill franchises a little bit more because they're like making like 5 or 6 games. Did you play the free Silent Hill game that was on the PSN store?
I did not have time with everything that's going on currently. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to try this, but I need to wait until after Silent Hill 2 comes out because there were so many so many games that I'm currently reviewing that it's weird when I don't know if this is like when you're doing reactions, but if I'm reviewing a game currently, I can't play another game because it'll get in the mixture of like the notes and the thoughts that I have for the current game I'm reviewing.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. No, like with I guess that could happen if I yeah, no. That does happen when I film album reactions. And
Oh
then I
my
might
gosh.
have to edit song reactions and I go back to the album and I'm just like, what was I like saying? What was I like and then I forget. You're absolutely right. But no, there's a thing in Silent Hill: The Short Message, which was like the free PS5 game. They had like a little mention that about the lore of Silent Hill, and it almost feels like they're trying to connect the lore to Silent Hill 2 because Silent Hill 2 is a little bit more of a standalone story. So I feel like they're trying to connect Silent Hill 2 and make it like a new lore where they can do a lot of free will with a bunch of with all the new games. I think that's what they're trying to do. So with Silent Hill 1 and 3, which are way more connected, um, it doesn't really fit the lore. That's why I don't know if they'll make a remake as yeah.
And that's the thing too, where you had PT Silent Hills, rest in peace, PT. Of it was I never got a chance to play it. I only ever saw people doing playthroughs and stuff, and it's so strange to me that they would let something of that magnitude go because they're doing all of this talk of like, oh yeah, we're gonna do the Silent Hill game and the Silent Hill game, but God forbid we speak about PT, literally the only talked about demo in existence. Like that's been talked about that much.
It's crazy. I know there's so much taboo surrounding it with them. But Konami, they've had such a bad reputation since firing Hideo Kojima, but they did put out a trailer for like the new Metal Gear Solid 3. I don't know if you're a fan of those games, but
I never played them before, actually.
oh well, that they mentioned that they wanted to remake it for a new audience before like the Metal Gear games kind of like lose relevance. So it makes sense why they wanted to remake it to keep it current, as well as Capcom's killing it too. But there's like they in the video, Konami was basically talking about the hurdles that they're going through. There's no mention of Hideo Kojima or anything. But they were talking about like how they screwed up the remasters and were being very transparent, and they're hiring a team, and that they really feel like this team is going to get it, and we're listening to all the feedback. Just the way that they presented the video was like the best damage control I've seen in a long time from a company. I'm like, wow, Konami, like, thank you. That was like a really, really good video. Was their recent Metal Gear developer interview. So that
That's
was
actually
cool.
really surprising to see from them, honestly.
Yeah, I know. And I just, it was because they were so transparent about the mistakes that they've done. It was actually kind of refreshing to hear. They really owned up to the things that they screwed up on the Metal Gear front.
One of the next questions I want to go in is what you're currently playing right now, because I always see like people do like their top 5 lists of what they're into as far as games are concerned.
Oh, well, I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier that I just don't have the time or energy to play games as much lately. There's so many games I really want to play, but right now, I'm doing the Silent Hill remake or the OG. But besides that, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake like constantly. Like, that again, I'm from like I was born in the '90s. Metal Gear, Final Fantasy, Super Mario. But yeah, so the Final Fantasy VII remake is one of the best games I've played in a long time. Yeah, I barely put I don't know 20, 30 hours into a game, and I put 100 hours. Like that was like all I was
Oh my
doing from
god.
February to May. Like I wasn't watching any shows or anything. Like I was just like Final Fantasy. And then even after I'm finished the story and everything, I'm like, I still want to do more. It's one of the few games where I'm like, I'm still hooked by the gameplay. I wanted to go watch Advent Children, the movie afterwards a little bit just to get soaked in the lore even more. Like that game, it was the one of the best If not, actually, no, Resident Evil remakes are really good. I was going to say it was like the best remake, but Resident Evil remakes are really good too. But yeah, I absolutely love that game. And then the other one, I know we talked about it before, like just through like Twitter or something. But Alan Wake 2 was so good. Oh, that's what I'm playing actually right now. Because of be Final Fantasy, I'm playing the DLC.
Oh yeah, I heard they came up with the DLC. How are you doing that? Because I saw that they added the what was it? The woman from Control, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I barely buy DLCs. I think this is one of the few times I've ever actually bought a DLC, but no, it's fun. It's cool. It's so far I was hoping for like a new level. There's like the third episode part or the third part of the DLC that I haven't done yet, so hopefully that's a new level, but like the first two are just like same levels, just you know. So far I'm like this is cool, but I don't know. I feel like it's not really doing too much yet.
What I found interesting about Alan Wake was that it gave off such Evil Within vibes because I'm such a huge fan of the Evil Within for the both games. And then when I saw like certain sections just filled with blood, I was like, "Yep, that's the Evil Within."
Yeah, Evil Within, Shinji Mikami, right? I think that's who. Yeah, Evil Within. That's such a cool game. Extremely underrated, especially the second one. Second one seemed like it went unnoticed. Yeah, no, I see that. To me, what makes Alan Wake so good is like their love of like Twin Peaks and stuff, which is similar to Silent Hill. But I love just the atmosphere with like the trees blowing in the wind and just the graphics and the atmosphere is incredible in that game. It's just like you're soaked in the atmosphere. And then I love the amount of detail. I've never seen a game with that much detail where every poster has so much going into it. It's just like it was incredible. That game to me is like a true 10 out of 10, and where like 10 years or 20 years from now it's going to be like a cult classic. People will still be talking about Alan Wake 2, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like I mean, Sam Lake is an absolute genius whenever it comes to the story and everything and the creation of it. I mean, the fact that I love how he embodies Stephen King whenever he is putting himself in the game because Stephen King always put himself in his movies. And I love that he does that because you see his character and even in interviews and everything that I've seen him and you see how much he loves what he does and the craft that he's trying to bring to the table. It's just absolutely incredible.
You're right. He's so
Yeah.
passionate. He's like the Stephen King of video games.
Yeah,
When you think about it, yeah.
he really is.
He's doing some posts with Hideo Kojima. If those two collab on something, oh my god,
My God,
that
I
would
would love that.
it's just going to be like the most meta breaking the fourth wall game. Like,
My God. Oh, you see, it's interesting that you say that that game was a 10 out of 10 for you because for me, a full 10 out of 10 game for me would be Baldur's Gate 3, hands down.
you know, I interviewed Johnny from the band Health. Health,
Nice.
and so yeah, he was saying Baldur's Gate 3 is like one of the best games I ever played too. He was just like adamant about it. So like I'm seeing all the reviews for it. I want to play that game too, but like it's like more like MMO, right? Or what's it
It's
like?
turn based,
Oh,
mostly.
that's okay.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I
turn
used
based.
to, yeah, that was my jam back in the day.
Yeah, it's turn based, but it has like very in depth cutscenes. And what's really interesting about this, as opposed to like a lot of turn based games, you can actually like zoom in to the character. So when you're not doing turn based action, it's literally just like an over the shoulder third person, basically.
10 out of 10 on Steam. Wow.
It's incredible. Astarion, just FYI for everyone watching and listening, has my whole heart. Thank you. You're welcome. It's so interesting the way that they do the stories. A lot of people see Baldur's Gate 3 and they're like, oh my God, you can have sex with a bear. And it's like, that's not all that it is. Just
Whoa,
want to put that out
spoilers.
there.
Spoilers, you can do that?
Yes, you can. I saw that when I went into my playthrough and I was I was bumble shocked. I was kerfuffled.
You were kerfuffled?
I've been mentally kerfuffled and it took me aback. I exit the situation peacefully.
It's funny because I looking at Baldur's Gate 3 in images, Google Images, like, I'm seeing a man and a bear. Baldur's Gate 3 romance guide. All right.
Yeah. It's really interesting, and there's every single character that is in your camp or that you bring to your camp, you can romance. So it is really, honestly, story wise, a very well done game. And if you do decide to go into it at any point, highly advise going into the backstory of Astarion to complete his quest because it's incredible.
Okay, so there is a good story. I think with a lot of these games like Diablo and stuff, I don't really play them
Mhm.
because I love story driven games.
Yes, you need to play Diablo 4. The story is incredible.
Is it now?
It's so good. That was the first Diablo I ever played, and then I got into it. The cutscenes are immersive and incredible. The storyline is absolutely amazing with Lilith included, and the boss battles are just chef's kiss. They're so good. And the DLC is also coming out as well, October.
Really? Okay. Well, look, I still got to play Elden Ring, and then
I
Baldur's
could-
Gate 3.
I could literally sit here and talk to you about games for it's literally my job to let people know about these types of games.
I know. I love talking about games. There's just one thing is like the amount of hours. Like Final Fantasy 7 putting 100 hours into that was like rare for me. I think the last time I put so many hours into a game was like Skyrim or something. Like, and that was like
Oh,
80
man.
hours.
Yeah.
Like,
What's interesting though is like I looked at how long I put into Bloodborne, and I think I have almost 400 hours in Bloodborne.
Wow. Like that. The thing is, like, to me, I'm strange. I know so many people who put like 400 hours into Animal Crossing. So, yeah, like, and my buddy puts like hundreds of hours, like my Discord community. To me, I have a hard time. If it doesn't grip me within like the first hour of a game, like it's very hard for me to continue. So I have to force myself to really get into it. And I think Alan Wake 2 and Final Fantasy, like I was already hooked right away. So I think that's just the issue that I have. I just have to force myself to kind of get into the game and then learn the mechanics. And then once I'm in it, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like, okay, it's go time now that I could like wrap my head around it and I'm sucked into it. But I completely understand that because it's like back in the day, I used to be very much like, unless it's going to grab me in and keep me there for like a solid hour and I can keep playing it, then okay, that's fine. But it's weird. Ever since I've been forced out of my comfort zone to review games that I don't necessarily like, it's really given me a lens into different types of games and mechanics and stuff and what I know I don't want to play.
Yeah. It's funny. That's the same thing with covering metal music. Like a lot of people think like even my friends like oh they're talking about all the bands I cover and stuff. Like you got to realize that's content. What I'm doing is for content. Like if I was following like with content creation, it's a job. And that's something you got to realize. Like of course you're following your passion. But like if it truly was my true passion, I would just be covering like Thrice and Sleep Token like the whole time. Like Thrice is like my favorite band. But instead I have to cover like Lauren Shore, and Lauren Shore, like you know what? They're not my favorite band. I think that new album was kind of just okay. So that's just a funny point that you said about the video games. You review things that you necessarily wouldn't play. But I guess it also makes you kind of like admire them. Like what's a game that you didn't really want to play but maybe you ended up really liking?
The recent Call of Duty game that came out, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
really into that game a lot. I'd never played an actual Call of Duty game before that. I played like a little bit here and there with my ex, and then we, after what was it? After I came home from college, I was like, oh, okay, I'm not really a fan of Call of Duty. I'm not gonna continue playing it. But I saw that they not remade it, but kind of, did a remake / continuation of the story. And then I got into it, and you have a main campaign, and I'm like, okay, I'm only in it for the story. Let me just go straight into what the story is. And it's so well done. Like I was so incredibly shocked at how well done the story actually was.
So did they remake Call Modern Warfare 2?
I believe because it was called Modern Warfare 2, unless they named it the same thing and did something else because Ghost in that game was alive.
Okay, so I'm just confused because they put out so many Call of Duties, I can't even keep up anymore. So the Modern Warfare 2 2022 video game. So it seems like yeah, they remade or remastered. I'm not too sure, but like the 2009 one. But yeah, that's the game that got me hooked on Call of Duty. That scene, the airport scene, was just one of the most like shocking scenes playing. Like I'm just like, whoa. And but the story, yeah, the story's actually pretty good. Apparently, Modern Warfare, the first one's like the best one.
Yeah. And it's so shocking to see, like, because all I know, 'cause this is probably going to rub some people the wrong way. I don't mean it offensively. So calm your tits down, first of all. I preemptively, please. And I've only known Call of Duty to just have an obnoxious player base from my experience. That's it. And I've seen that across the board, playing in lobbies or playing with friends. I never really dove more into that because I thought, how this isn't fun for me. What am I going to get out of it? But diving just into the story, not having anybody talking in the back of your ear, saying that it's bad, it's actually a really pleasant experience.
Yeah, you would actually take some heat for that. Like that seems like a known fact that the lobbies are just kids.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Gaming journalists get shit for no reason.
Really, eh?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, we get a lot of shit just for purely existing. So it's one of the weird things about the industry that I'm in is because when we talk about something, and especially if it's a female, obviously, we get shit for it because we're speaking our truth. I almost got doxxed for telling people my honest opinion that I did not like Fallout 3. Like,
Ooh.
yeah.
I've heard that the gaming community can be a little bit toxic, but like the metal community is too, but I don't think it can compare like that.
Yeah, no, it gets intense. Would I trade what I do for the world, by the way? No, absolutely not. I love what I do. Kind of wisens you up to a lot of what's going on in the industry and every industry, to be quite honest. They'll have their bad eggs, but I feel as if, especially in the gaming industry, a lot of the fans, I know a lot of you do this, so just sit the fuck down for a second. A lot of the fans will be very much, a lot of the fans will think that they have rights to ask things that they do not have the right to ask for. So the parasocial relationship type of thing will go off the charts, especially in this industry.
When it comes to the journalists.
When it comes to journalists, when it comes to content creators, because I've been a YouTuber for 8 years for gaming, and I just recently started this channel. So it's, like I already have people on this channel calling me baby. I'm like, no, don't do that, please. So it's the same thing, only magnified 10 times more in the gaming industry.
Yeah. Yeah. The metal scene is toxic too, right? There's like I think it's getting better over the years. I think it's getting more diverse and culturally accepted too. I think I don't know how I handle it. I think at the beginning I remember just replying back to the trolls and the haters right away, and but to be honest, they want your attention too. So I just kind of like ignore them. If I see someone hating on me or something, I just let them kind of whatever. And then my followers end up actually replying to them. And then guess what they're doing? They're just commenting back and forth, and then they're boosting my video in the algorithm because it's more engagement. So I'm like, yeah, go ahead, man. Like, go. You're actually helping me. And it's actually going back to Falling Reverse. That's something that he does is that he replies to all of his haters, and I'm personally a little bit conflicted in why he does it. Like, come on, man, like be stoic. Don't reply back to all these people. But in a way, it's actually good marketing, and he knows that he's self-aware that what he's doing because it keeps putting his band on news tabloids. Like any publicity is good publicity, right? So, and then it not encourages, but the haters actually want to reply to him, or like that way he'll make a reply back and get his attention. It's like a weird thing, but guess what? Falling Reverse is like everywhere on Twitter and stuff. Like, so it's toxic, but it's working in his favor, and he just like he eats it up because he doesn't care.
Yeah, I feel like you have like it's such a level of feeling, not in a bad way, but feeling jaded to those comments of where you're just like, I literally could care less. What do I have to lose at this point? Let me respond anyway. And I feel like, like we were talking about this before, but for my safety, I cannot answer back to those comments a lot of the time. So when I see them, I'm just like, unless it's something that is actively like, and I know that's probably going to be the same for you, actively like disrupting your safety, there's no need to reply to it whatsoever. The block button will get a workout.
Yeah. And especially on YouTube, the best one of the best things that YouTube has ever put into their system was the remove and report the person, but it actually, or like it hides the user, so that way they think that they're still commenting, but no one can see them. They're like in a Black Mirror episode or something where they they're like in a different reality where they're going off hating, but guess what? No one could see it. I think that's one of the coolest features that any social media platform has done. I think every other app should follow suit. Instead of like reporting and blocking them, like, oh, why'd you block me? Instead, like they can't tell they're blocked. I love
Yeah.
that.
I love it too. It's just like they're literally like, why can't you love me? It's so great. And actually, I don't know. Do you get these comments too of where people will be like, stop talking? It's like you clicked on a reaction video. What were you expecting?
Idiots.
I don't get it.
To be honest, like I'm just a lot of people. How can I put this? I feel like you don't understand what it's like until you become a content creator, but also at the same time, I never was one of those people that would comment on the videos and just be like, "Oh," so I don't really understand their mindset. But like one example that I have is, customer service. When I worked at McDonald's for 5 years, and I love that job actually. But the point was like, I did a lot of customer service. I know what it's like behind the scenes. So now when I go through drive-through or go to McDonald's, I'm polite. I know how to talk to these people. I know how to treat them like human beings. So like I'm respectful. And maybe when I was younger before I worked there, I wouldn't have handled it the same way. But I feel like that's what people like, and when you're a content creator, we're all like nice to each other. Content creators, the other content creators, we're all like, we get it, we understand. But the comments are just like they go off until they actually kind of do it themselves or something. Then they realize, oh, why was I being an asshole? Now I get it.
They're just like, I have been reformed.
Yeah.
When you are looking for bands to react to, is there a kind of a criteria that has to be met? Or are you like, okay, this one's popping off right now. Let me review this one.
Um, with it's completely different on how I started it. When I started, I was just I was doing one video a day. Like that was my goal, just like one video a day. And it was always like trying to do new music. And but lately, I think I'm really put a lot of time into editing, and I like a more consistent view count. So what I do now is I do tend to feature bands that make just good content. So back in the day, it's just like whatever. I'm going to put it out just because I have a video a day, and it could be a song that I'm not that crazy about. But lately, it is. I tend to put out music where I actually enjoy the music. So a lot of people said like, "Oh, this guy just likes everything." So now I sound like that Truon guy that I was talking about earlier, where I just like everything. But what I do now is I live stream on Wednesday and Friday, and I listen to about like 30 songs on both of those streams, and then I just record the entire stream, and then I just whatever is like the best song or whatever is like a trendy song or something that people want to see, I just edit those and put those out. So and then yeah, so that's what I do. But then like there's weird wrenches in the plan where Bring Me the Horizon will do a surprise album. Like, oh no, now Bring Me the Horizon. So now I'm like, I had my content scheduled for Friday. I'm like, but now I have to do a Bring Me the Horizon stream. So I do that and I put that out. So it's very go with the flow, but I do choose songs that are either trendy that people want to hear or songs that really floor me and I need to put out to my audience rather than just it's not fun or makes good content when I check out a band that has less than 20,000 followers on Spotify and the song is just like, yeah, this is okay. I think they can improve here structurally, blah blah blah. I'm like, it might appreciate the band might appreciate hearing that criticism, but it doesn't make good content. It's not that fun. But what I have realized as a content creator is shorts and TikToks and Instagram Reels are pretty much the new form of media. So what I am doing now is like I'm doing full YouTube videos on the trendy songs or songs that are just bangers, but then I'm using shorts and Instagram Reels for all the smaller bands because it's just a clip of my reaction, right? And then you just use your thumb. You can go through my YouTube Shorts profile and you just like listen to the first 5 seconds of the song. Like, do you like it? You can just scroll to the next one, scroll to the next one. So to me, that's a much faster way of discovering new music for the smaller underground bands. But then my main YouTube videos are like the trendy songs or the songs that are just like really, really good.
That's really awesome, though. That's so cool to get kind of like a behind the scenes into how that process is because, it's interesting how each process is going to be different for every YouTube reactor, every, YouTube content creator in general. But it's really nice to like, because when I watch your video editing, by the way, I, as someone who's been doing this for 8 years, it makes the editor in me just be like, yes, he's doing it the right way. I absolutely love seeing his videos because they're edited so well. And that's the thing too, of where like you edit it in such a way of where you are bringing people in and that shows. So, it's really awesome to see that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that because I feel like some of my recent videos have been kind of toning down on the editing. I'm like second guessing myself sometimes where I'm like, maybe I need to chill on the editing. But now hearing that feedback, like, no, people really like it. So I should continue doing what's working. One trick about my reaction editing, and I made it public, is that what I've done instead of doing the static image is work alongside the pacing of the music. So with sleep token reactions, for example, like when the song picks up, I zoom in a little bit faster, and then or when the breakdown hits, I do the side by side shot like of both. And then after doing that, I noticed like a bunch of other people doing it. I think Nick Nocturnal started doing the side by side frame as well. So it's cool because like it's changing the reaction format, and I like that because it's making it more credible, because people say like, oh, reaction content's so entry form, it's so easy, which it is. But with the amount of editing that I'm seeing in the metal reaction community, I feel like a lot of people Orion Reacts, if you watch him, he puts a ton of time into editing, even more than me. So I just like, it feels like it's more credible, and that's something that I really want to do because reaction content still has a stigma, and for good reason, because there's a lot of bad reactors out there that offer no value. But there's a good portion of reactors that feature new music. We put a lot of time in editing. We try to enhance the songs through our reactions if we really do enjoy them. And yeah, I think just the point is the reaction scene is doing really well right now.
Yeah, especially like you brought up Nick Nocturnal and everything, and he was one of the first reactors that I checked out, and your reactions and his, it was kind of interesting how like I watched your reaction of Sleep Token. And you were like, this is amazing. Like it was way more chill to a degree. And then I watch his and it's like literally balls to the walls insanity. It was like a completely polar opposite reaction, but for the same song. And that's what I find so unique is that people love the song, but the reaction is just, it's entirely different.
Yeah. Yeah. They're complete. And I feel like Nick's reactions a lot more lately have been a lot more chill. I think with me, I try to balance like a more chill, but also like high energy. Like, to be honest, I'm actually really mellow in person. Maybe you're getting that impression through the podcast. I'm a very chill, mellow person. So when I'm doing the reactions, I'm like, all right, I have to get into more energy, but like that's me at my most high energy. Like so Nick is like, yeah, that's something else. Orion Reacts, if you ever watch him, he like punches his mic. Oh, he did All My Life Falling Reverse, and since it had jelly roll, he had a jelly roll donut, and so at the breakdown he smushes it all over his face, and he's just like he's got donut for on his face for the rest of his reaction. So he's very over the top. I feel like he's going to be now the props guy.
So oh my gosh. Yeah, I saw one clip. I think I know which one you're talking about because I saw like a screenshot on like a short. And I was like, what the fuck is he doing? And I just had forgotten to watch the video or something, but I saw that image will forever be in my mind though.
Yep. You don't even know what it's about.
Nope. No, I have to watch the entire thing.
You're just getting nightmares of this like face with a whole bunch of crap on him.
You see now that
it looks like crap though, but donut.
Post-production me put his face faded out over the top of me.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm using it in good taste. Okay, fair copyright.
Yeah.
So the next thing I wanted to go into, because it was something of where whenever I plan out these podcasts, there's usually like a hook question that I have because it is probably like the thing that I'm the most curious about. but I have to know, what was it like seeing Sleep Token and getting to vlog that entire experience? Because I saw that video and that brought me to tears. I got so emotional because I was like,
Aw.
oh, it was so well done and it was well crafted. And the fact that, excuse me, you were able to go out there and get to see these guys live for the first time and be able to go out and actually like do your job, but also something you love in tandem. I thought that that was amazing.
Thank you. That's definitely the best video that I've done on my channel. Um, oh yeah, like I put a lot of time into that. That was like a 2-3 week kind of effort to put that into prepping, filming and then editing. But the experience, it still is one of the most memorable. It's one of the highlights of my life for sure. Um, Basically, actually it was Johnny from the band Health who I had on the podcast, and then he invited me out, and people in the comments were saying like, Metalburb, you'd be stupid if you don't take that opportunity to see Sleep Token in Wembley. I'm like, yeah, but it's going to be expensive because I have to pay for the plane ticket. So I eventually coughed out the money and did it. I'm like, whatever, going to do it because it's going to be experience. I did it, and then landing in the UK, it just like it was wild. Like I've never been outside of North America. That's another thing. Like I've always been to US, I've always been to Mexico, and obviously I'm Canadian. So, or for people that don't know, so then I went to the UK, and it was just so cool to go somewhere else. And um, then I met up with two YouTubers, and one of them is Drew Fortune and Steve OG, and it was cool to have beers with them and hang out, and then Sleep Token, of course, was so cool to go backstage to one of the biggest venues out there in general, really, right? And just hanging out backstage with the band Health, and they were so gracious. They were like giving me beers, like, "Hey, Burb, have a beer," and bless you, and bless you. You always gotta sneeze in like twos and threes. And here we go, third one.
Oh my god,
Bless
I
you.
managed to dab at the same time.
Yeah, that was a cool dab. That was sick. I wish I could sneeze like that.
Excuse me. My allergies are acting up right now. It's really bad.
No worries. That was like a.
Excuse
I gotta remember to always dab when you sneeze.
Dab or say peek at you.
Oh, I like that Pikachu. And then like the security was intense though. Like I remember. Yeah, well, it was after Sleep Token performed. I'm just like, hey guys, is it okay if I go like come in? Like, no, 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 no. And then they're like running around and stuff. Like they're very like protective of their identity. So yeah. So it was just that was one thing to keep in mind. But the set was just cool, and Vessel lost his voice live, like it was well known. But just hearing the crowd just saying the words, it felt almost more special in that regard when the crowd just took over. And what the song Bloodsport, which a very emotional ending song, and then I ended up getting emotional too because like I felt like this was such a highlight of my YouTube experience to be part of this. Also just the lyrics in the song and Vessel was crying too live. So like I started like weeping. I'm like, no, like I started getting choked up. And then even after the show though, like some guy comes up to me just like metal burp, metal burp. I'm like, oh hey man, hi. I'm like
Aw.
wiping tears off. I'm like, sorry man, I'm a little bit emotional right now. And he's like, I fucking love you, bro. And he goes, oh sorry, can I swear? Oh wait, I think
No, that's fine.
yeah. So a lot of people were crying though, but it was just such a special time. And what ended up happening afterwards was I still connected with Drew Fortune and Steve OG, and we actually formed a podcast together called the Metal Roundup, where we every two bi-weekly we film a podcast together just going over all the metal news. And it was funny because Steve's brother, who was being the tour guide showing us around the UK, he was hanging out with us, and he was listening to us talk about music, and then he was saying, you guys should start a podcast. Like the way that you guys are just talking about music and content creation and just like venting out, like we can talk for days. So like you guys need to record this and film it. We're like, do people really want to see that? Like, I don't know. So, well, I'm shocked, to be honest. I think there's already State of the Scene that's really good at it, but so we decided to do it, and people are loving it. Like, it's getting for less than 1,000 subscribers. It's getting like 2,000, 3,000 views per podcast. Like, yeah, it's really been doing well. So that's been really exciting. That's uh, something that's happened because of the Wembley experience that we all went to. But yeah, no, it was an incredible time. Have you seen Sleep Token live yet?
I have not. It's one of my biggest goals to see that band live because I used to go to a lot of live shows. Yeah. So it was really interesting too because I showed Sleep Token to my mom and she was like, "Wait a second, is this the guy who's from the UK who has like the deep voice that you like?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is the person." And I showed her the song Rain and she absolutely loved it. Like Rain is one of my personal favorite songs. What's your personal favorite song?
Oh, good question. The Summoning and Ascensionism is my favorite off Take Me Back to Eden, but then Jaws, Higher, and The Offering have a special place in my heart too. Nazareth are really good. But yeah, a lot of good songs.
Nice. Ooh, the song Mine is also a banger. It's so
Oh
good.
yeah, that's a good one. I actually did not care for that album too much.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I know it's like it's more of a slower pop record, I guess, with a little bit of metal elements. I think that's why I'm metal burb, right? I love my metal elements, but I also love like the more like R&B and trap stuff too. Like Dark Signs is a really good song too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. So wait, when you're looking at different, because I know that you primarily react to metal music, but if you had to switch your genre for 1 week, what would you switch it to?
oh well, I actually don't listen to metal music on like my spare time.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, which might be a little bit shocking to people, is because it's content. It's what like it's my favorite music. It's what I listen to at the gym though. But like, if I listen to music all the time, 24/7, I feel like I go crazy. So I listen to jazz. I can't pick one genre to be honest because like it's sporadic. Metal is always my go-to. It's like 50% of my music taste, and then everything else is like jazz, classical. I almost listen to classical every morning. I've been listening to a lot of punk actually lately. There's a lot of like skate punk that I grew up with, like listening to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and stuff that I've been jamming out to a lot lately. Um, some indie, some trying to think. I think a lot of Celtic folk music too, because on road trips I love listening to that stuff when I'm on when I'm driving out in like the country. And so yeah, it's all over the place.
That's really cool. I mean, like it's kind of interesting because it's excuse me. I grew up with classical music. I like we were even talking about this before, like with D. Martin and Frank Sinatra and all of those. So
Mhm.
like those are ones that I will listen to not on the regular, but it's something of where like, oh yeah, no, that's like nostalgic for me. But if I'm listening to anything on the regular, it is going to be probably like soft rock mostly. Like I love metal, but I'm mostly listening to Breaking Benjamin or Evanescence or 30 Seconds to Mars.
Okay, The Kill
Yeah.
is an incredible
Yeah.
song.
Yeah, their new album is absolutely incredible. If you get a chance, you have to listen to it. It's like
Oh,
yeah, it's actually
I
pretty damn good.
I heard the opposite, to be honest. So that's why I never checked it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because like I'm a Jared Leto fan for like his movies and all that kind of stuff, but his music is where he shines.
Oh, really? Okay. That's funny. I feel like I have like the different take. I feel like his movies are good, and then like, well, except for that album with The Kill, I like that album. But I've listened to the one of his more recent ones. I'm like, it's alright. But if the new one is like really good, I'm down to check it out.
It has this kind of what's a word I want to use? Kind of this euphoric almost tinge to it of where it's like dream like pop or something. I know that's a genre that recently came about of where it's dream pop mixed in with kind of how their old school stuff was a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So dream pop, maybe like a little bit of shoegaze elements.
A little bit, yeah.
Interesting. That's another genre that's been taken off. Do you listen to Loathe at all?
I heard of them. I never got the chance to sit down and listen to them.
Sleep
Yeah.
Token does a really good cover of Loathe, of a Loathe song,
Oh.
actually. Yeah, so Sleep Token, Loathe are buddies. So I highly recommend. I let it in and took everything. It's and then after you finish the album, you check out the Sleep Token cover. I think it's one of the no, Sleep Token's done a few covers, but it's one of the very few, if not only, Sleep Token cover from a metal band that they've done. because everything else is like Billie Eilish and stuff that they've covered. And
Yeah,
okay.
I saw that. I was like, okay, I did not expect him to cover Billie Eilish, but that's pretty cool.
Oh, he's an incredible musician. If you go way back and find old videos of Vessel playing, he's done a lot of technical progressive music on piano.
So one of the final topics I wanted to dive in with you is it's kind of interesting to see the progression of taste as far as music goes. Like over the years, I'm not sure what your taste was when you were like in your teen years, but I want to like see how different it is. So what were you listening to as a teenager versus what you're listening to now?
Okay, so I have this tattoo over here, and this tattoo is an album cover to the band Protest the Hero Kazaya. And it's an album that I loved when I was like 14 or 15 years old, and I don't regret that tattoo at all. It's still one of the best albums that I've ever heard, and the bands that I heard when I was like 13 or 12. Apparently, when you're 13 years old, it's such a pivotal year in your music taste because it's when you're like developing, and so a lot of the bands that I loved when I was 13 years old, I still love to this day. I mentioned them earlier, but Thrice is still one of my favorite bands. Um, but like my music taste hasn't evolved as much as like I can't believe I used to listen to this band back in the day, like Foo Fighters. Like I remember hearing Foo Fighters when I was a kid, and it blew my mind, and I still love Foo Fighters today. I think one thing is more recently my music taste is something that I've been noticing lately is that when I was younger, I used to love very technical, like metal music. I love the amount. Just I love classical music, so I love all the arpeggios and all the notes flying around. Like to me, if it was basic and simplistic or even generic, I didn't really like it as much. But lately, I'm finding so much value in more simplistic music and songs that are just focused around melody hooks with the odd chord change that just works alongside a vocal melody. To me, I feel like writing songs based that are much more simple in nature but also like much more creative are so much more pleasing to the ear. Like I'm enjoying a lot of slower music too, and stoner rock and indie rock, and I think that just happens with the age, right? You appreciate the more slower beats. It doesn't always have to be constant like technical riffing and crazy drums, which I still love, but I realized the appreciation for more nuance in the beats and the syncopation with guitars. So what I'm saying is that I'm finding a lot of more simplistic or even generic music lately just as appealing, or if not more appealing, than the technical progressive stuff that I grew up with.
Wow. That's actually
Yeah.
quite like the character growth. I really
Yeah.
that's really awesome actually. Yeah. I-
When I was a kid, I used to hate that stuff. So now it's like the complete opposite. Now I'm like, love it.
yeah. So will I catch you at any point listening to Justin Bieber's Baby?
Hey, that I don't mind it. Like there's who I love? They're blowing up on TikTok, but like Baby No Money and Young Gravy.
All right, so one of the final questions that I want to ask you is what would people be surprised to know about you? Like something that you haven't said online that you're not like they're not really privy to. Within reason, of course. I don't want you to have to like, go too personal or anything that you're not comfortable with.
Something that I haven't said online. I watch Beard Meets Food every time I'm eating my lunch. So
That's awesome.
Beard Meets Food is a competitive food eater. He's a massive YouTuber. He's got like 4 million followers on YouTube, and just like reaction content, I never cared for food challenge content. I'm like, oh, this is silly. But I see his thumbnails all the time, and I finally clicked on one. I'm like, okay, he's likable. But then he puts a lot of time into his editing. It's like little stories. It's not just him eating. It's like vlogs. So I really love his editing, and also he's so humble. And I watch him every time I eat. I can't watch him when I'm not eating. So anytime I'm eating my lunch, I'm watching him just like devour like this massive pizza or something. And he's just a really good content creator. He's massive for a reason. So that's something that I've never mentioned before until now.
Wow, that is actually pretty cool though. Like it's just like one
Yeah.
of those kind of comfort shows like on
Yeah,
TV or something. So I really like that.
totally.
One thing that, especially on this YouTube channel, that people might not know about me is that I almost became a signed artist. And it was to a point of where he sent me over the contract, and one of my friends was signed to this company already, and they were like vouching left, right, up, down, sideways. And I sent the contract over to my parents because I didn't feel comfortable with it. Asked them to take a look at it. It was basically like almost a 360 deal of where you are basically owned by the company. Like anything you do, it have rights to absolutely everything. So I didn't want to be stuck in something like that. I don't want to like work my life away to get noticed maybe like a smidge. So yeah, I was almost signed to a record deal.
What do you play?
So I play piano, guitar, and I sing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a full produced song back like 5 or 6 years ago, I think. And it was before I graduated from college. No, actually, it's 8 years ago now. And it's still up on YouTube. If people want to look in the archives, I can even put it at the end of this video for people who want to listen to it. It's called Lost City. So,
Lost City? I definitely want to hear it.
You could do like a live reaction.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's so interesting too, because it's like, I don't really tell people the fact that I do music still anymore. It's kind of like just that part of me of where I only keep it as a hobby tucked away in the corner.
Yeah. I know. I got my guitars there, but I barely play them lately.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, do you still have like the calluses and everything, or are those starting to like go away?
Those are gone. Those are gone.
No.
Yeah.
I think I still have the calluses of like 2 of my fingers right now.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
So you're playing more than me then. I think the one that shocks them is that I don't listen to a lot of metal music outside, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's pretty cool too, because like in a way you're kind of reserving that for when you can have it at your peak to listen to it the right way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But Metal Burb, I want to say thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. I really appreciate it. You're a really awesome person, and just seriously continue to do what you're doing, because you have such a gift for bringing music that people would have, like, I never knew about Sleep Token before Will Ramos and you. So, I mean, like, you have just such a nurturing vibe about you whenever it comes to a lot of these, music reactions. So just keep what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And if you guys like the podcast and you want to see more episodes and you guys like my content and what I do, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell down below, because I make videos very sporadically, but I do make them, I promise, at points sometimes. And if you guys like it and you want to go over to his channel, I will have his stuff linked down in the description below. But you guys, praise the sun, have some coffee, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.